Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome Blake from Saul to the program tonight. How you doing, Blake?
Good, good. Happy to be with you here, Lance.
Happy to have you calling in. I was telling you off air, I don't think I've ever interviewed anybody from Iowa before. Big Hawkeyes fan. I always watch them in the fall. You say we're now friends.
We have to, yeah, well, yeah. I'm Hawkeye fans stick together because we're probably the coolest fans, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys have an EP out called Eons.
Yes, sir.
I always like to approach the beginning of the intro as if I'm a new fan looking for music in a record store. You know, I'm taking an old-fashioned trip to the record store, and I've gone down to the S's, and I'm flipping down through, and I've seen the Michael Schenker and the Scorpions and all that stuff, and I come to this band called Saul, and I realize I'm out of order alphabetically, but roll with me, okay?
Yeah.
They have it out of order, and I come to this band called Saul, who somehow got snuck behind the SCs. Obviously, it's a play on your name, right? Correct? The name of the band.
Zach Bedsaul. Yep.
What gave you the inclination to play off your last name for the name?
Well, when Zach and I first started going, my brother is a guitar player, Zach and Blake Bedsaul, and when we first started, it was a lot of acoustic stuff, just Zach and I jamming out, you know, doing Johnny Cash covers and stuff, you know, in high school. And we didn't have a band name. We just, hey, this is Blake and Zach Bedsaul. And we had a fan of ours like, hey, have you guys ever thinking and thought about just naming your band Saul? And we're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And they just kind of stuck, and we've just been rolling with that for years, you know, rather than the Bedsaul brothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very, very cool. Then I look at the album title called Eons, and I'm thinking, what could this possibly mean?
Yeah. Well, Zach and I took a break. Our drummer actually, a few years ago, he decided to step down and go to his family and do that stuff. So we felt like it took a while to get back going and get William McElravy up here on the bass and Joe Nichols on the drums. So, we decided to name it Eons because it took some time to get everything up and going, and now the team's just better than ever.
Very, very cool. Then I look at the artwork, and the first thing I thought when I saw the artwork was that it has a little bit of a tip toward the Rush 2112 artwork, but it's different.
Yeah. Actually I didn't even think about that, but yes, it does.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is I'm a huge Geddy Lee fan. The guy's a monster.
Yeah. So can you tell me about how the artwork came about?
The song Eons is about like the struggles through time, really, and about a lot of Saul, times, like we've been singing for eons as a lyric. It's our highlight in the GTS, and the GTS stands for Global Timeline System, and everything and been tracked on the GTS as far as wars and all that stuff. And you can pinpoint that in history. So we decided to do that, and that's why the artwork starts with a monkey, and it spins all the way around to a guy holding a briefcase. So that's the way we decided to do it. Just eons is time, and that's what the artwork tries to represent.
Okay, cool, very cool. So I bought the album. I've taken it home, played it. And now it's very, very good. So with 5 tunes, I thought we would just sort of go track by track, and I could give you some of my notes that I have, and then if you could tell me a little bit about songs. Sound cool?
Absolutely.
Opener is Toll. I've got riff, killer riff. I like the keys underneath, kind of atmospheric. Really cool tune. What can you tell me about Toll?
Well, we wrote that song about just being struggling musicians on the road, the toll it takes, the price we pay, and then hold on for someday. And we wrote that song based on our own experience, but you can really, pinpoint that to every band that's ever started to do something in their career, how it is a struggle, especially at first. And if you hold on long enough and you believe in your product, you will get there. You will get there, and don't give up.
Absolutely. Very cool. The next track is Brother, but I want to save that one for last. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
We're gonna come back to that one, just because I got a lot of stuff, and I know it's a special tune, and I don't want to, I want to sort of spotlight that at the end, if you don't mind.
No, it's fine.
Third tune, Bolide. I love the machine gun intro, and I looked up what a bolide is, and I came up with a bright meteor. Do I have the right interpretation there?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a bright meteor that blows up once it hits the atmosphere. Yep, exactly.
Sweet. Once again, I love that sort of like machine gun intro, killer stuff, just killer riffs in here. And I got to tell you, your drummer Joe is a monster.
Oh yeah,
monster on drums throughout this EP. It's just fantastic.
He's got sledgehammer hands. That guy hits like freaking train.
Yeah. So how did Bolide come about?
It was crazy. A couple years ago, when we took that time off after our drummer quit, Zach ended up getting this crazy stalker. And that's what the whole song's about. It turned out she's like claiming she's pregnant, and he's like, "That's crazy, no freaking way," and blah blah blah. And that's what the song ended up being about. That bridge, like throwing stones in the water, and I see a face. It's not my kin. Because there's no baby. It's just don't lie, bolide. You're blowing up.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, kind of scary stuff.
It was. It was a weird time and situation.
I mean, and that's was this sort of recently as the band was starting to blow up, or was this before?
This was before, so I don't know what she was doing. You're gonna do it now.
I guess I was gonna sort of lead into it. It's got to be scary with. Before in a band, you could sort of have almost a sense of privacy at times, but now with everything on social media and everything posted, it's got to be pretty easy for people like that to gain access to you guys.
Yeah, and it is. And one thing she was doing, there's like these sites where you can make fake phone numbers and call from computers, and like there was this whole thing, and like we got to the point where we were tracing IP addresses to phone numbers and stuff. It's like. It was a weird situation. It's very easy to do.
Yeah.
You could definitely be a stalker.
Wow. Scary stuff.
Yep.
I Am Him. The question I had, is that keyboards or people in the background? I couldn't quite figure out whether you had people with high voices or whether you were doing that with keys as background voices.
That was both. It's actually both. Zach, Will, and I, we stood in the live room in the studio, and we did those high vocals.
Cool. I couldn't tell if it was a la Boston, where they had Brad Delp hold that note right into the keys, So,
yeah.
Can you tell me about I Am Him?
I Am Him. We were struggling there for a while. We had some people that were pretty much bad-mouthing us and saying, hey, you guys are never going to go anywhere, blah, 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 that whole situation. So that song is kind of burning them down. Saying, hey, I am him, I am going to do it, so.
Very cool. Eon was probably my favorite track on the whole EP.
Okay.
I loved a little bit longer track. I love the different textures. I love the opening, the bass, and everything. Probably, like I said, probably my favorite track. Obviously being the title track, I got to know a little bit about that one.
Yes, if you obviously you've listened to the lyrics, but the river's running dry, it's a damn shame. Drink it till it's dry. It's just about that whole song is about how we are destroying the planet more or less. More than less. With the oceans and everything and pollution. So that whole song is about that and how we need to change. Or when we're saying. And I get this question a lot, and I don't know if you're going to ask it, maybe you know, but Arda, when we say Arda, we must go.
Okay.
Well, we're kind of nerds, and J.R. Tolkien, when he wrote Lord of the Rings, he wrote the Silmarillion first, or later on, I guess, and it was about the back history of Middle-earth.
Okay.
Oh, man, I'm way geeking out, I guess, but...
no, that's good.
In the beginnings of it, when he was talking about it, they didn't call it Middle-earth or anything like that. The planet was called Arda, so it's talking about in the future how we're going to have to get in a giant spaceship and all travel away like Wall-E and just, sorry, we destroyed you, but we must go, you know?
Yeah. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Now let's go back to Brother. This tune has really blown up. It's been most spun on Octane. You're up over 100,000 views on YouTube. Yeah. And it's a real heavy subject for you guys. Special song, obviously, to your heart and everything. Yep. You lost your older brother. Can you tell me just a little bit about that?
Yeah. In 2009, when the H1N1 flu was coming around, we got a call from our brother Caleb, and he just said he was sick. No big deal. You know, he's got a flu bug. You know, and that's what we thought too. Well, a couple days later, he's got 104 temp. He's going into the hospital. Literally hours later, his lungs filled up about 80%. He was pretty much drowning. His body was starting to shut down. It was just this fast. Yeah. You know, in a total of like 4 days, this all happened. We saw him the night he passed away. We were just there, and we get a call later on, about 4 hours later, where we put him on life support. You better get up here. Yeah. It was about an hour and a half drive to the hospital where he was at. We end up getting back to the hospital. They're giving him CPR. Gone, just that fast. They couldn't bring his body back online. They couldn't get his body to jumpstart. So he passed away, and then Zach and I wrote Brother based on this experience. But it took a while. I mean, that was in 2009. You know, we're talking 10 years ago. Right. And as a family, we didn't talk about it for a long time. It was just never brought up. The only time we talked about anything was just old stories where we could laugh about it. You know. Yeah. And so we decided to write this song, and when we got Joe up here, the first time he auditioned to be the drummer of the band, he was telling us he's an 8-year Army vet. He did a bunch of tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. Well, his brother in 2011 was got hit. Oh, he was in an IED accident and took his life. So it's crazy how Brother has become our anthem song to immortalize the people that meant so much to us. So it's really cool. It's really cool the way it turned out, and it's a tragic story. But I think Caleb and Donnie are up there freaking working their butts off for us too. Absolutely,
and if you can bring a message to other people, it's a great message song. And if you can get somebody thinking about it, and you bring some brothers back together or something, then that's pretty much all you can ask for,
Yeah. The amount of messages and stuff we've been getting just on the YouTube channel, through Twitter, through Facebook, people with so many, so close to similar stories. It's pretty. I mean, I can't say it's cool, but it's really, therapeutic, I guess.
I was going to say, sort of like a catharsis for you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. To come out and tell their stories, and that's really. It's really cool to see, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know how to say it any other way,
Well, I mean, it's got to be gratifying to be able to know that you're touching people's emotions and thoughts and stuff like that, through your experiences, through a song. I mean, really, you can't ask for much more than that,
Absolutely. And when we were writing the song, it was more of a something we had to do. Yeah. So now that people have taken it as their own, I mean, as an artist, that's what you want to do. But it was so cool that it was so introspective to us, and they have claimed it for their own. I mean, that's I couldn't have asked it in a you can't write that story.
Yeah, exactly. I love the middle section in that song. You kind of give a chance to breathe, and then you bring it back up. It's a wave of emotion. Really, really good stuff.
Yep.
The video, did you guys shoot the video yourselves, or did you have somebody help you out with that? I know a lot of bands are DIY their videos now.
Yes, actually, our management is actually Chris Dawson. He played in the band Seasons After, and so he manages us now, and he did the recording and the music video. He's a one-stop shop. He does artwork. The guy is a book of knowledge, and we're so glad that we have him on our team.
Very, very cool. Excellent. Any other videos in the works for the EP?
We have a couple that we haven't released yet, and they're going to be sweet. I think people are really going to like them.
Excellent. And I see you're headed out on tour soon with Bobaflex?
Yes, yep. We will be in the Northeast for that. It'll be, actually, Zach and I literally just got back in Omaha and from New York. Literally 20 minutes ago.
Excellent. Those guys are fun. I interviewed Marty a number of years ago, and he is a hoot. You're going to have a good time with those boys. Definitely.
Love Marty and Sean, man. And, they're just cool dudes. And they're excellent live, and, they're just awesome dudes.
Yeah, and you couldn't ask for a much better band to kind of take you under their wing. I'm sure they're going to, show you the ropes a little bit, have some good influences, maybe some little bit of bad influence as well, but,
yeah. I mean, shoot, those guys have been road dogs for freaking 20 years, so, they've seen it, they've done it,
Yeah. I remember in the interview with Marty, I asked him, I said, if you had a young, up-and-coming band, what would be, a word of advice you would give him? And he said, don't sign anything.
Yeah, yep.
So, very, very cool stuff. Let's go back to the beginnings of the band. Now, you and Zach, you mentioned you guys started playing like around high school. You were doing Johnny Cash covers and stuff. Did you also start doing originals back then, or were you mostly covers?
When we started out, it was a lot of covers. I mean, more or less just trying to figure out what we were. We had a cover band. It was called Unbreakable. Clearly, we were lying because it obviously broke. And then we started doing Saul stuff, and we got a drummer at the time, and we started writing some tunes, and we took, it was just crazy, everybody going to college and doing all that, and we just kind of took some time off, and we didn't start writing off right off the bat. I mean, covers was where it was at, being a high school kid, making some money doing street dances and stuff like that was
sure.
the ideal thing that we wanted to do at the time,
Yeah. Now, in school, did you always sing? Were you like in chorus at school, or is this something you just sort of happened?
You know what? It's kind of crazy. Zach and I were just talking about this last night with a friend of ours. I didn't originally want to sing. I just wanted to play bass and be done with it. Because when Zach and I started, I played bass and sang. He did guitar and backup vocals.
Yeah.
And originally that wasn't the plan, because we auditioned singers, and and everybody they sucked. I don't, you know what I mean? I was a high school kid, right. And I was like, screw it. I said, I can do it better than these guys. I'm just going to do it. And Zach's like, okay, man, if you think you can, let's party on. And so the rest was just history. We just started that route, and we just never finished.
And how'd you meet up with William and Joe? William's on bass, Joe's on drums. How'd they come into the band?
A couple years ago, Will used to come to quite a few of our shows when we were still a three-piece, and just met up with him, ended up after a show, and he drank some beers, and he didn't know that we were thinking about adding a bass player, and it was probably a month later, I sent him a text, and because he was in a band down in Lincoln, Nebraska at the time,
okay.
And I was like, hey, said, we're thinking about adding a bass player, you interested? And literally a month later, he moves up with me, and he's like, yep, I'm on, let's do it, let's party. And he moves up with me, and that's just the way it happened that fast.
Very cool. How about Joe?
Joe is, there's a crazy story about Joe. We were looking for a drummer, and we didn't know where to go, so Zach signed up for this thing called Band Mix. And it's for all these musicians looking for bands and looking for members and all this stuff. And Zach's like, screw it, I'm going to try it. I can't get, we had people coming from Detroit to try out, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Minneapolis trying out on drums. And we just couldn't find a groove with these guys. And we got a hold of Joe finally on Band Mix, and he's like, oh my God. He's like, literally, like 2 hours right before you called, I threw all my drums and all my cymbals, everything I own, just on eBay. He's like, it's all on eBay. I'm done. I'm giving it up. And he's like, and literally an hour into the conversation, he took everything off of eBay, and he's headed towards us, and he only lives 35 minutes away from us. So it was kind of weird situation. It was just
Yeah.
It had to be. It was fate, almost, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's really good. Now, when you go out playing live, you've got the 5 tunes on the EP, so are you playing like the entire EP? Do you have other originals that are floating around? Do you do covers? How do you come up with your set list?
We do, a couple years ago, when we were still a 3-piece, we released a record called The Touching of Parallels, and we do a couple tracks off of that. We do our remake of Pink Floyd's Welcome to the Machine. Nice. We do The Hand That Feeds by 9 Inch Nails. We do a cover of that, and the whole EP.
Nice. That's a great set.
Yeah, people. We're in New York last night, and they were talking about the remake of Pink Floyd. So I think we might re-record that and release that. At least that's what they're wanting to do.
And Bobaflex had that. Was it Hey You? They did. They did a Pink Floyd cover.
They did that Pink Floyd cover. I'm not going to toot my own horn here, right? But they didn't do that until they saw us do Welcome to the Machine.
Really?
I'm just going to say it. Yep. And we become really good friends with Marty and Sean and Jimmy and those guys. But they did such a good freaking job on their cover of Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so good.
The video is spot on too. It's the way they shot it the atmosphere was fantastic. But,
oh yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to hear you guys do Welcome to the Machine. That's a great cover right there. So.
Yep.
Excellent. So you got Brother out that's doing gangbusters. You got the EP out. You're headed out on tour with Bobaflex here right off. Are you looking any further ahead than that, or are you just kind of taking things one day at a time, or?
Yes, actually, we I mean, I can't really give nothing away. Everything's kind of secret right now, I guess. But we got some wicked big plans coming up.
Very cool. We'll look forward to that. Chatting with Blake, lead vocalist from Saul, here in Let's Discuss with Lance All tonight. Their EP Eons is out now. Check out the video for Brother on YouTube. Hear him on Octane. Blake, I always like to end my interviews with just some silly questions. I'm hoping these are questions you've never been asked. Sound good?
Good, yeah.
First car you ever bought with your own money?
A 1988 Buick Century Station Wagon.
What? Like all the band equipment, right?
It was bad to the bone, and I wish I still had it.
Favorite?
It was wood panel.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect.
Yep.
Favorite old school wrestler?
Favorite old school wrestler? I have to go with, oh man, so many choices. Oh, who do I love? Old school wrestler. Let's go with, is Mick Foley old enough?
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, he's not as active as
Jack Mick Foley. I love Mick Foley, man.
You know, I actually saw him a number of years ago at Santa's Village over in New Hampshire. It's about a little over an hour from my house. And I'm standing in line, and I see this guy walk by, and I'm thinking, man, that looks like Mick Foley. And then I saw him walk, and I knew it was him because he's got a very distinctive walk.
Oh, the guy's broken.
Yeah, and he's huge. He's a big guy. And,
is he really?
I didn't really want to go all fanboy or anything, and I saw some other people, kind of going to him, and I waited. About an hour later, we walked by, and he was sitting on a bench waiting to go on one of the rides or something. And I just went by, and I said, "Hey, Mick, love your stuff," and I gave him a fist bump. So
nice.
That's my Mick Foley story. So yeah, definitely. Favorite toy growing up as a child?
Favorite toy? Ooh. Favorite toy growing up as a child? We liked Lincoln Logs as kids. All of us kids are only a year apart, so we're pretty much Lincoln Logs were cool.
Yep.
We played a lot of football, and we wrestled like constantly. I don't know if we really had a lot of toys because they were either broke or we were just too busy wrestling to play with them.
Sounds good. Would you rather have the power to be invisible or read minds?
Read minds.
Would you rather go back in time and meet your ancestors or forward in time and meet your great-great-great-grandchildren?
Oh, I love history, but I got to go with ancestors.
All right. This is the last one. This is the one we have the most fun with. And this is sort of fitting now that all these biopics are coming out. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actor would you have play you in the movie? And it's your life, your movie, you can pick anybody.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, he's bald. Man, I mean, he's almost too old, but I mean, I would Bruce Willis would be my man. He would be my dude if I did it. I mean, I don't. I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, he'd definitely have to say yippee-ki-yay,
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I can hear him doing it. I can hear a little Bruce Willis in you, so. Definitely. Well, Blake, it has been a hoot talking to you, calling in from Sioux City, Iowa, my first Iowa interview. So, once again, we've been chatting with Blake, lead vocalist from Saul. Check them out. You guys, the Eons you can buy pretty much anywhere. Do you guys sell it off a website yourselves, or are they better off going somewhere else?
Actually, we do, March 1st, we're going to start doing physical copies from our website, from saulofficial.com.
Okay.
But if you go to saulofficial.com, you'll find links to the iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, anything that you guys use. Expand direct links to our all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything.
Okay, and we'll keep an eye out there for the next video, the follow-up to Brother, and look forward to you going out on tour with Bobaflex. Have a good time with that.
Yeah, it's going to be such a good time.
Absolutely. Blake, take care. We'll talk again soon.
Great. Thank you, Lance. You have a good night.
Bye-bye.